So I saw a recent comment from somebody that goes by I'm a Thug on YouTube, and he asked, or he or she asked, can you do a film analysis on Ryan Connelly? And I thought that was a good idea, so I figured I would just go back. I went back the past couple of days, watched just about every snap of Ryan Connelly's rookie season. I put together some clips that stood out to me, whether it was good things or bad things, and I put them all together. We'll go over them. I'll let you guys know, do I think Ryan Connelly is a legitimate starting linebacker option for this team in the future, or was it just a fluke? We'll have to wait and see, but hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and let's get into it. So first play, here's Connolly right here. It's going to be a run to the left, like a stretch run play to the left here. The right guard is supposed to block Connolly, but he's too fast and honestly just beats into the spot, and I think he was supposed to seal him off right here, but Connolly, as I said, is too fast, and he shoots the gaps very well. His tackling technique on this play was really good, wrapped his waist, kept driving forward as well, so really nice job there to get Frank Gore, probably like a 20-year difference right there for him tackling Frank Gore. But this play goes for maybe 1 yard, no gain, and Connolly does a really good job there of not allowing him to get any extra yards. And if this was a linebacker that did not have much speed, then you're probably thinking he's going to be blocked by this right guard, but Connolly does a good job of pursuing this play, knowing what's happening, and getting to that left side to make a stop. So when I went back and watched, I was actually pretty impressed with Connolly, who's actually right here on this play. I was impressed with him in coverage. I mean, I know he was pretty good in coverage last year, but I didn't expect him to be this good. And he wasn't asked to do much man-to-man last year. It was definitely more zone, because that's really what James Betcher was doing most of the time. But he was doing a really good job when he was asked to do it. So here he is covering Devin Singletary. He's basically stride for stride with him in the flat. And it's not like Singletary's running that fast anyway, but if Connolly was just really slow. And right here, I've seen some linebackers over pursue, and maybe he could have turned upfield and had a touchdown here past the pylon, but Connolly does a good job of staying with him stride for stride throughout the whole thing, and Alec Ogletree surprisingly makes a good play here. But Connolly in coverage, as I said, was actually pretty surprising, so we'll get to more stuff like this later, but this is just a rep where he was a man-to-man with Singletary. Alright, so for the bad plays, I'm definitely going to be nitpicking for sure, because he didn't really do too many negative things that were just easy to tell. So here's a play right here where they send this man, I think his name is McKenzie, he's a fast guy, but they send him in motion, and both linebackers move to the left pre-snap, I mean to the right I guess, but see Ogletree and Connolly move to the left here, which makes sense because you want to just be prepared for the end around. But right at this point, when you see Josh Allen having that ball and extending it, and you see Ryan Connolly's eyes are on the ball, you want to be moving to this side of the field, obviously, to Connolly's right, and he kind of has a delayed reaction to it a bit, and this allows the right tackle to basically just take his legs out and take him out of this play completely. So Connolly right here, you see him takes a step forward. I kind of wanted him to go more horizontally. He didn't go forward too much, I guess. Right there, I kind of wanted him to go outside more and kind of get to where Jabril Peppers is. That would have been like the right thing to do. But as you can see here, it gets taken out of the play, and DeAndre Baker cannot break that block, and it's an easy touchdown for the Bills. So I think this is a play that, it's tough to make for sure, but I do think this is a thing that Ryan Connelly could have done a bit better. Obviously you have to avoid this right tackle from taking your legs out, and if he could do that, then this probably would not have gone for a touchdown. So as I said, a lot of the negatives here are nitpicking. I don't think many linebackers in the league are going to make this play regardless, but the play recognition from Connolly right here I was not too much of a fan of. So this time they actually do send McKenzie in motion. They kind of give him like a little drop pass here, and you can see Connolly had a bit of a delayed reaction right there. And obviously I don't think he's catching him regardless. This really has to be a play made by one of the outside guys, where it's right here, or even Bethea. I don't think Connolly has a chance at this play regardless, but if you watch him one more time and just the play recognition, I'll try and slow it down for you guys. Right, so you can see Allen flips the ball right there. I think it's for everybody else to see. Obviously, the handoff's not going to happen with the running back. You see the ball right here, but Connolly kind of has a delayed reaction to it. I mean, the ball's in McKenzie's hand, and he's still looking in the backfield. So to me, it was a bit concerning, and right about here is when he goes, oh crap, it's over here, and then he tries to chase down the ball carrier. Obviously, it's too late at that point, but as I said, he's not going to make that play regardless, but the play recognition right there was a bit concerning to me. So this was a play I liked a lot. Here's Connolly right here. So not only does he avoid a block from center Mitch Morse, I believe it is, who's probably one of the better centers in football, but he also just meets the running back in the hole and just really does not allow him to gain anything. He gains a couple yards when he falls forward, but right here you can see he stops him dead in his tracks. That's really good stopping power by Connolly right there. So I enjoyed seeing that for sure. We'll watch one more time as he avoids the center, who's right here. He avoids the block from him, and there were some moments where Connolly had trouble shedding blocks, but this one was not one of them for sure. Center kind of took a poor angle to it, and Connolly was able to just basically go right by him and then meet the running back in the hole, hits him very hard, and really does not gain much after that. So really nice job by Connolly on that play. So here's an example of a really good coverage snap by Connolly. They're going to run a play action fake to the right here, and one of these tight ends, I don't know which one it is, but one of them leaks out to the left side of the field where nobody is supposed to be. But Connolly, and even Alec Ogletree, gives him credit to, are all over this play. So Connolly's right here. He sees this tight end leaking out. He's with him stride for stride, and I think this was the backup tight end. I don't think that's Dawson Knox. I don't even know which tight end that is, but still, he does a really nice job of just play recognition right here. Seeing this tight end leak out, Josh Allen keeps the ball. You see Connolly right here running stride for stride, pass goes incomplete, and if Connolly was late reacting to this play, then that could have been a nice completion for a first down for sure. So once again, here's Connolly right here. He's going to start going to his right, thinking it's a run play, sees it's not, sees the tight end going across the field, and is with him stride for stride, forces an incompletion. Nice job in coverage there. So there were some moments where Ryan Connelly was kind of over-aggressive on some plays, and this is one, but it was called back due to an illegal blindside block, so it doesn't really matter. But we watch Connelly right here. He kind of over-pursues this play, in my opinion, and the running back gets right by him. Morse once again tries to lay out a block, and Connelly just missed this one. We'll watch from the other angle. So Connelly, number 57 right here. He could have went outside more to his left and made this play, but he tries to blow up a lot of plays, which I like in a sense because it's a high risk type of thing, but there's a high reward, but it's also a high risk. So on this play, Connelly obviously could have went outside of Morse just to avoid this block, but he does not and tries to meet him earlier, and by then it's too late. He basically has an arm tackle, running back goes right through it, and on this play would have picked up like 15 yards or so. It was called back, as I said, I think because of this block right here by Dawson Knox, actually hitting Grant Haley late, so it was called back. But Connelly right here, I think, could have just been a little more conservative right here. You see Tomlinson's in this gap. You probably could have went outside here just to assure yourself that this is not going to be a big play, but goes to try to blow up the play. It does not happen, but it was called back, so it really doesn't matter. But as I said, sometimes he's a bit over-aggressive on plays like this. So here's a play where Connelly was on a blitz, and obviously each person that's blitzing is responsible for their own gap. If you go through the wrong gap, like let's hypothetically say that he went where Ogletree was by accident, then a guy like Josh Allen is just going to run through here and just absolutely kill you. So I understand you have to have your own responsibilities, but I don't know why Connelly was just ran straight into Quinton Spain here. I feel like he could have went outside more because there was a hole here. Obviously I don't want him going through the middle because, as I said, Josh Allen can take off and kill you with his legs. So on this play, I don't know why he kind of just absorbed the block, basically. He just ran right into him. And Dalvin Tomlinson in the beginning of this play was really just taking up a double team at one point right about here, and then Spain is waiting for Connelly to come, and he could have went outside more and make Josh Allen step up in the pocket. I think eventually Marcus Golden, or actually no, it was Alec Ogletree, got there, so this ball was nearly intercepted. But as for Connelly, I think he could have went outside more. I don't know why he ran straight into the blocker. As I said, I know you have to maintain a wall here basically to make sure Josh Allen stays in the pocket. You can't go through the same gap with two people, but I think in this instance he probably could have went outside to his right more, but unfortunately he ran right into Quinton Spain and really was not too effective on this blitz. So as I mentioned before, Ryan Connelly shoots the gaps really fast, really well, and can blow up a play. And this is a play where he actually saves a touchdown. So it's a run to the right, and Ryan Connelly comes from all the way over here, avoids a block from the left tackle, all the way to the left side of the field here where Peppers is standing basically to make a touchdown-saving tackle. Now, I think they scored on the next play, and Connelly might have been the guy that missed the tackle. But for this particular play, a lot of positives. I mean, the play recognition is good once again, and just shoots the gap and does a really good job of wrapping up on that tackle. Tackling technique's been pretty good so far. Nothing to complain about. I might have seen maybe one or two instances where he went a bit too high, but this I think is a pretty good one. Once again, keeps his legs driving. Good job there. Frank Gore is short of the end zone and saves a touchdown there for the Giants defense. So this is that next play I was talking about. Here's Connelly right here, and he just gets absolutely steamrolled by Frank Gore. So It's very hard to stop a guy from scoring at this point, and I think Frank Gore beats him because he was lower and had more leverage. You can see when Gore meets him there how low he is compared to Connolly, and Connolly's helmet's above his, so of course, just based on physics, Gore's going to win this battle, but Connolly right here just gets knocked on his butt, and it was not a good showing. As I said, it's very tough to make a play happen here. I kind of want to see him just kind of swing at the ball. I don't know if he swung at the ball with his right arm there. I'm trying to see, but I think in a play like this on the 1 yard line, it's better to just swing at the ball and hope you somehow create a fumble. I'm not sure from this angle if that happened or not. He might have done it with his right arm there. I'm not exactly sure, but there's just only so much you can do there. But getting ran over is probably not a positive thing for the Giants defense. So here's a play that Ryan Connelly will not go down in the stat sheet for, but he makes this play happen. So he's right here, and once he sees Jameis Winston's going to pass, and it's not a run play, he actually prevents a completion from happening. So from right here, it looks like nothing happened, but I'll play it from the other angle, and you can tell that Jameis Winston was looking for, I think this is Cameron Brate here, looking for him on a seam route. I guess it was O.J. Howard. Yes, it was O.J. Howard right here who had his hand in the ground. So he's going to look for O.J. Howard here on the right side of the line. And you can see once Connolly realizes this is not a run play, his reaction time here is very good, and he shadows over to where O.J. Howard is, and he's going to pass him off to the free safety. So Jameis was looking that way. He was definitely looking towards Howard for sure, thinking, maybe both linebackers are going to blitz and he might have an open tight end over in the middle of the field. I guess once he sees Ogletree blitzing, he realizes that O.J. Howard's route right here is going to be wide open. But what Ryan Connelly does really well is get inside that passing lane right here, and Jameis Winston, if he throws that ball, is getting knocked down or intercepted. So, he also has a safety over the top behind him. We'll show it from the other angle later. But Connelly does a great job here, and Jameis Winston has nowhere to go with the ball, and then by the time he realizes you have Alec Ogletree and Marcus Golden in your face, it ends up being a sack. So a nice job there by Connelly with the play recognition and shadowing to the passing lane. So as I mentioned before, so right here, he could have obviously tried to float one in here, but that's a risky pass because you have the free safety back there. So he can't go that way with the ball, and then by the time he can go through his progressions, it's too late and he's sacked. So a really nice executed play there, and Ryan Connelly was a big piece of that. So here's another play where I'm definitely going to nitpick and think he probably could have taken a better angle to the ball. So Connelly's right here. It's going to be a reverse play to, I think, Brashad Perriman, who looks like he's right here. It's going to be like a reverse play. He's going to run down the left sideline. So it is a tough play, but Connelly actually diagnoses it pretty well and is over there fast. But the gap that he attacks, it's too late to make a play. So I think if you can do this over, and if Connelly can do this over, he probably would have went through this way to try and cut off Perriman. So it's unfortunate that happened. But I think the more he watches film and just sees stuff like this happen in the NFL, I think he'll get better at it. And this is definitely a very tough play to make. Once again, I'm not 100% sure if he would have made this play anyway, but if Connelly, instead of shooting this gap right here, trying to just cut this play off for a 5-yard loss, he could have went towards the left side here more and definitely made a play for maybe no gain or just a couple-yard gain. But we see Perriman just easily picks up 15 yards on this play, and I think Connelly could have done a better job of just not making this play go for a large gain. So once again, he's right here, he's going to shoot the gap, and by the time he gets in the backfield right here, the play is already behind him, which is unfortunate. And my thinking is if he went out here towards the 40 more, then he probably could have cut Perriman off, and it would have been maybe no gain or maybe a couple yards at most. So here's a simple play for Connelly. He just has to make a tackle with really no blocker on him. So it's pretty simple. He wrapped up a bit high, which is the one negative I would say about this play. But outside of that, I think does a good job. It's just one-on-one in the hole. Who wins? And Connelly definitely won that battle. He spins him around, and the play goes for no gain. So as I said, he went a bit high on the tackle. We'll see once again, goes for the shoulders basically, which is the one negative I would say. But outside of that, it's fine. It's no gain, and it still goes down as a solo tackle, so a nice play there by Connelly. So this is a play I didn't have to put in here, but I wanted to give Connelly some props for having a high IQ as compared to most guys out here on this play. So Connelly's right here, standing, looks like he's going to blitz, drops back. The Giants are in zone defense, and this was that play where Alec Ogletree got the fumble. Well, it was a fumble at the time, and basically, I think, pulled his hamstring on it. But you can see here, Connelly is one of the 2 players on the field, basically, that actually gives a damn and tries to go after this ball. Like, we have a bunch of Giants players over here, 1, 2, 3. Ogletree, I'm not going to count because he picked up the ball. But you can see Connelly, like, from the get-go, is all over this play. Him and Alec Ogletree are the only guys basically moving for this ball, thinking, hey, this might be a live ball, so let's pick it up and run it back. So Connolly was all over that when it happened. I forgot who got the sack exactly. Trying to see who that is. It looks like a big guy. Could be Dexter Lawrence. We'll see from this angle who it was exactly. Let's see, 97 is Lawrence. Yep, he got his hand on it. So he hits Jameis's elbow, and it did go for an incomplete pass. You can see his arm going forward there, so it's an incomplete pass. But at the time, the refs didn't blow the whistle. So Connolly right here, you can see him running for it and goes, all right, let's pick this thing up and see what happens. And Chris Godwin thinks the play is over. Dexter Lawrence probably thinks it's over. Some other guys think the play is over. But I'll give Connolly a lot of credit. He was all over this play and definitely showed his football IQ on a play like this. So here's some more of Connolly in pass coverage. It is zone defense. He does a good job here. He just basically keeps his eyes on Godwin at first, then turns his head, sees Dare Agumbawale, and makes a tackle on him. It wasn't the best tackle, but he still grabbed his leg. So I'll try and slow it down one more time. So his eyes at first are on Chris Godwin because he's responsible for this side of the field, basically where Mouse is, just somewhere in the middle here. And Chris Godwin, once he realizes Godwin's going to run outside, you can see, right, once he goes this way, he takes his eyes off him and now turns his attention here and saying, all right, where are the underneath guys? He sees the running back here. Jameis Winston winds up the throw at this point. And he meets him pretty well. I mean, he could have obviously hit him harder than this, but he still made the tackle, held on to his leg, so it wasn't the first down, and this could have been a harder hit, obviously. But outside of that, not a bad job there by Connolly. We'll try and see once again. His head is turned towards Chris Godwin. Once he sees him break towards the sideline, however, he puts his attention towards Jameis and sees, all right, where's this ball going? Sees the running back on an angle route and meets him. So, as I said, it could have been a better hit than that, but still, it is what it is. He made the tackle, so I'll chalk that one up as a good play. So this was one of Connolly's 2 interceptions for his short season, so he's going to drop in coverage right here, and Jameis Winston gives him a gift for one of his 30 interceptions this year. This was a terrible throw. I think it was going for Mike Evans. He was clearly threw the ball behind him, so we'll see from this angle how, in fact, easy this interception was. And that's why I don't want this false narrative that Ryan Connelly is this spectacular guy in pass coverage, because the guy had 2 interceptions, which is great, but there was this play, which is a ball I probably could have intercepted, to be honest with you, and then there was one against the Redskins where it was tipped into his hands. So I don't want people to fall into the Alec Ogletree trap from 2018 where you saw he had 5 interceptions and you just automatically assume the guy's really good in pass coverage, I should say. So yeah, this throw was just awful. I think he threw it off balance for sure, tried to step up and just throw off one leg, and it was severely behind Mike Evans, who had no shot at it, and there was Connolly to just corral it and take it in for a 10-yard return. So a nice job there. I've seen linebackers drop this ball before, so I have to give Connolly some credit there, but Jameis Winston gave him a gift for sure on this play. So here was Connolly's 2nd interception on the season. So he's right here. It looks like the rest of the defense was in man coverage here, but we have Connolly stay underneath and then the one high safety. So pretty easy play. I think this guy on the bottom of the screen ran a slant, and Janoris Jenkins broke it up nicely, and it was right into the hands of Connolly. So it's a pretty simple interception. The turf monster got him there, I guess. I mean, this is why turf scares me. So, guys tear their ACLs on this thing all the time. But Connolly right here, I mean, he's in a good spot. He's in the right position to make this interception. I think 90% of the, I would say 90% of the props here would go to Janoris Jenkins, and I would say the leftovers were for Ryan Connolly here. But you have to thank the quarterback for making a throw behind his receiver, so there's that as well. But I would say this is a pretty much a gift of an interception right there, and one that I don't want to give Connolly too much credit for, but he was in the right place at the right time, so he does get an interception added to his numbers. So this was a pretty simple play once again, but he has to fight off a block from Morgan Moses, I think this is, to make a tackle. He was helped by Grant Haley and a couple other guys, but simple play, but I guess it was nice and showed the, he wasn't really consumed by that block there. Of course, the run went to the opposite side of the block, so it wasn't like Moses could have really done anything here. Obviously, he could have held him, and that might have been called, but Connolly does a good job here of disengaging at this point and wrapping up Adrian Peterson to make a tackle. So this is a play, I don't know if Connolly was given a sack here, but he does do a good job of basically not over-pursuing here, and this time he stays, does a conservative approach this time, because if he rushed Keenum too much, and basically, let's say he was behind Dalvin Tomlinson, then yes, Case Keenum could have ran up for a first down here probably, but he does a nice job of just doing his job, and then once Keenum tries to step up, he just makes the sack. And I don't know if this counted as a sack. I think based on where the ball was snapped, it was a sack. So if it was, then good for him. But he does do the right thing here. Makes a tackle, makes a nice play. So we've seen a few examples where Ryan Connelly uses his range, and he has a good amount of range, honestly, to make some tackles. And here he is right here. This is a pitch to the left, and Connelly avoids the block from the center right here and finds a way to... He didn't make this tackle. I think it was Grant Haley and David Mayo who got this tackle, but he was there to meet him at the right time. So as you can see, he avoids this block here, does a good job of getting away from that. Gets away from, I think this is Donald Penn right here, gets away from him, and, you know, when Thompson cuts back, he's basically in the hands of Grant Haley. So a good job there by Connelly of just having the range and the speed to get over there in time and making an impact on that play, even if it's not in the stat sheet. So here's another pretty aggressive approach here from Connolly. He tries to shoot an A-gap right here, and I think he makes a good calculated risk here. I think, you know, he did miss the tackle, obviously, but it went for nothing. And, you know, this is Chris Thompson here, who's not known as a great runner, so I don't mind the risk here. As I said, if it's a calculated risk and it's a good one, then I say go for it. He was basically inches away here. At this point, inches away from making this tackle, so I don't mind this one at all. It did go for no gain, so I like the aggressiveness on a play like that. So I always like ending on a positive note here with these film reviews, and here's Connelly making a really nice play, getting and basically making the screen pass go for nothing. So we'll slow it down one more time. So he has to break this block from a right guard right here. He kind of does like that Chris Berman like whoop noise right there. He gets by the right guard and makes a really nice tackle on Thompson with the help of Janoris Jenkins. So once again, the play recognition there is very nice. He doesn't over pursue. I think they're in zone anyway, so you know it wasn't like he had to over pursue either way. But he does a nice job of getting away from this block. That's a tough one to get away from. I think Brandon Sheriff was out this game, so luckily it wasn't him. But does a nice job of breaking away from that block and making a tackle on Thompson. So good job there by Connelly once again. So that will do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video about Ryan Connelly. I have pretty high hopes for this guy. I think he has a lot of potential. He showed us a lot of good range. That sideline to sideline ability. He's pretty fast for a linebacker. He's not the fastest, but he's pretty fast for a linebacker. He showed good tackling technique throughout, a really good football IQ as well. Pass coverage potential is a big thing. He has the ability to blow up run plays. I mean, sometimes he gets over aggressive here and there. And I absolutely love the fact that we have a linebacker in front of him. As I said before on the other channel, I would not want to rely on this guy as the number one linebacker, especially coming off an ACL tear in his second year. But the fact that we have Blake Martinez and this guy can just basically do his own thing as the linebacker number 2, probably playing in a 3-4 next to Blake Martinez, I am very satisfied about that. And I think the Giants have a keeper here at the second linebacker position. So the negatives for him, I think he can be a bit over aggressive sometimes with his, taking routes to the ball, and there were a couple plays where he tackled a bit high. But outside of that, I don't think there's many negatives about him. He's obviously not the most athletic guy out there on the field, but he has a lot of instincts that make up for stuff like that. So I think Connelly's gonna have a solid career. It really comes down to, can he stay healthy? Sometimes guys don't come back from these ACL injuries and look the same. Oftentimes they do, but you never know. So it really comes down to his health, and I do think if he's healthy, the Giants have at least an average starter for the near future. So I'm pretty excited about that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did. Let me know in the comments what type of year you expect for Connelly in year 2. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next time.